Good afternoon, everybody. I'd like to thank Eric for inviting me to speak here today. It was great to be actually mentioned with all them very distinguished Irish companies in that list that Eric put together there. As he said, my name is Ross Keogh. I'm one of the Keogh's farming family from North County Dublin. The farm is based about half an hour from here. It's about 20 minutes if you're late for college, which happens to me quite regularly. I'd like to just quickly speak to you about my actually own personal family. So I'm married to the lovely Lorraine, and we have two lovely girls, Isabel, who's 4.5, and Ava, who is almost to the day exactly the same age as I am doing an MBA here in DCU. So that didn't go down too well when I told my wife I was going to be doing an MBA pretty much when she was about to give birth to our second child. Now, the reason why I mention family is because we're going to talk about family here today. And what we do back on the family farm is all about family. So this is the five of us. So on the left-hand side there, you'll see my Uncle Tony. I'm next to him there. My cousin Derek, that's his son. My brother Thomas and my father Peter. Now, the five of us run the business at the moment, and as Eric said that we're taking it over. We set up the crisp company, and we'll come to that. And we've over 100 staff. Now, every decision that we make within the family business affects all these staff. So, of them, we've about I did payroll yesterday, and we've about 107 staff. There's over 100 families then that we have to look out for. So, every decision we make affects them families and their income and their child's education and everything. So, we don't take any decisions lightly. So, all them people work for us, and it's very much a family that we have there. Now, as I said, we've over 100 staff. We didn't always have over 100 staff. I'm just going to go back a bit into the past and tell you exactly how we got to where we are today. So, this here is a picture of my grandfather, the late Peter Keogh. He died in 2007, but he was the first innovator within the business. That's him in the 1950s there, and he's harvesting grain. And if you hark forward, this is how we harvest potatoes these days. So he was able to harvest about 2 acres a day there. We cover over 40 acres a day with this machinery here now. So this, I'm going to tell you how we got from there to here. Now, in doing so, this is one of the quotes that he always told us: quality is remembered long after price is forgotten, which for many years I thought was a quote that he made up himself. It's actually Sir Henry Rice, and one of the Gucci family actually used to use it a lot. But this is the core to everything that we do. Quality is remembered long after price is forgotten. And you're only as good as your last bag was something that was always drilled into us in the past. So, back in the 50s, grandfather was a market gardener for the Dublin city market. He used to bring all his produce in there. We grew everything. We do cauliflowers, courgettes, cabbages, tomatoes, cucumbers, potatoes, grain, the whole lot. He got big into grain, and in 1957, or 67, excuse me, there was a really poor harvest, and all the crops were lost. It was really, really wet and rainy, and no money was made, and lost an awful amount of money. So he had to make a difficult decision. He actually upped and left and went to Australia. His wife, Patricia, had 5 kids at the time, and he went down there for 15 months, got together some money. He was working in an oil refinery down there, came back and put it into glass houses at the time, which was the newest technology around for growing tomatoes. So, got big in tomatoes, started making a lot of money on that. It was nice, everything was grand, but then exports started coming in, tomatoes cheaper, and he had to opt out of that, and he diversified. So he wasn't going to sit there and fight it, and fight again it, and fight a losing battle, actually. He diversified it into sprouts. So in the 70s, they went into sprouts, and the same thing happened. They got very large into sprouts, and exports started coming in, they had to diversify again. So all the time we were growing all these other vegetables I would have told you about. They got big into potatoes then. They decided that there was a market in potatoes. So started growing a lot more potatoes, and we're supplying them into the retailers and all. Now at the time, potatoes were not available all year round like they are these days. They had a window, and it was from about June until February or March, and there was a gap in all the retailers where they did not have product. So hark forward to about the 90s, and we had a good foothold in several markets, but we locally to us, a farm of about 200 acres come up for sale. And the done thing was to always try and expand your business. And we were farmers, and that was to buy more land. But what they actually decided to do was, instead of buying the land, they built a cold store, which was not done in Ireland whatsoever at the time. Nobody cold stored their potatoes. Basically what that is the potatoes went into ton boxes, into a shed, 3 degrees, and we were able to control the potatoes and supply the market then all year round. The potatoes did not germinate and try to grow again. So in doing that, opened up more retailers, and we were able to supply the market in its totality all year round. That was a turning point within the business. So it turned us from being just farmers into farmers that had a product that we could put directly into retail all year round. So then move forward into when I did my Leaving Cert, went into college. I wanted to be an architect originally, and we were told always you can leave the farm and do what you want to do, but the farm is always here for you to come back to do. I didn't get the points of my Leaving Cert for architecture. They're very, very high. So I did engineering, and I had 2 years engineering under my belt in DIT. And I deferred it then because we were busy on the farm, and I never went back to do it again. But I then went into the business full-time with my brother and my cousin. And when we went into the business full-time, this is what we were looking at. Fresh potato consumption was declining in Ireland big time. That's the slide at the top there from Barbie at 2008 up to this year. This is what they were expecting to happen from 2008 onwards. And if I hark back to 2001, it's at a worse type of level. Where were they going? They were moving away from the regular potato section. That's a super value potato section. That's actually Swords about 3 days ago. People were travelling at this time, so we were coming into the boom days of the Celtic Tiger, and they were eating more pasta and rice and Mediterranean type dishes. And Atkins diet was a large thing on people's minds, and the Atkins diet had potatoes as being a particularly bad thing. So we were coming into a business that was declining. There was going to be 3 more families that were going to have to feed, at least, and we didn't know what we were going to do. Well, we sort of did. So what we actually did was we took the brand, the top left-hand corner there, that is a sticker that my grandfather and my father designed for all the packaging back in the day, and I would have applied that to countless bags of potatoes back when I was about 7 or 8. We still actually have the cream of the crop brand that we do sell to this day. So we decided to ask a branding agency to come in to talk to us, and they spent over a week with us, spending time with each of us individually, seeing what made us tick, what did we do, what was it about us that was going to make us stand out from the crowd. And they came back at the end of it and said pretty much, you guys are the brand. What you do in day to day is what we need to tell people. You grow what you do, you love what you do. All of you actually really, really love what you do, and you don't want to be doing anything else. So Keogh's Grown with Love in Ireland came to life. So what we did was then we looked at the packs. We made a new innovative, fresh looking pack, put it on the supermarket shelf. We then looked at our innovation and the things. How are we going to get people like myself at that age, you guys, to actually buy more potatoes? The bottom left-hand corner here, this is a microwavable bag. So this is our easy cook range. In that bag there is 400 grams of baby potatoes that will cook in 7 minutes in the microwave. The bag steams them in their own steam in the microwave, so you've no dirty pots and pans. And we got a lot more consumers with that, and we were the first to put that on the market here in Ireland, and it's going really well with us so far. We have it in several retailers. The one beside it is a 1 kilo family pack, 13 minutes that will cook in the microwave. And we launched a range of organics, and also on the left-hand side there, you might think that's a peculiar name on the bag, Selena Rooster. Basically, the Irish diet is lacking in a micronutrient called selenium. Now, selenium is vital to your health, and the Irish diet, as I said, is lacking in it. It's a micronutrient, and it's an antioxidant. It fights antioxidants and free radicals. So what we do is we treat the soil with a thing called sodium selenate, and what that does then, the plant, when it's growing, soaks the sodium selenate from the soil into the potato, into the tuber, and increases the selenium levels within the tuber. And then when you go and you buy them and you eat them, you're eating more selenium and getting more selenium into your diet. It actually, one of the side effects of it was it actually gives us better shelf life, and it gives us more storage. So when potatoes are treated with selenium, when they come out of the cold store, they've actually after holding better over the year. So they're the innovative products that we brought to the market, and we got our market share back and we increased it a bit, and we were happy out with that, and everything was going well. But we weren't finished. We wanted to put our real mark on the business. From this, when we started doing this, it was more of a case of you were asking forgiveness rather than permission from our father and our uncle. And when we proved that all this worked, they were completely backing us to do whatever we wanted to do after that in regards to bringing the business forward. So we'll hark forward up to 2011 when we launched our Crisp brand. Now, we didn't just launch a crisp brand. It was several years before that, visiting factories, looking at machinery. How do you do this? How are we going to make the best crisp on the market? And we'll hark back to prices forgotten. Qualities remembered long after prices forgotten. We'll hark back to that. That reiterates into this as well. So we were never going to put a product on the market unless it was the top of the market and it was the best product that's out there. There was a niche in Ireland for a premium crisp at the time. There was a gap in the market. So we launched this in the middle of a recession in 2011 after several years of investigating everything. And it took off for us really well. Our first customer was JC's shop in Swords here locally to us. And we were supplying Fergal Quinn and Super Quinn at the time with potatoes. And he gave us a listing very generously in all his shops with the crisps. And we got really good traction in them shops. We also, as I said, launched in the middle of a recession. So what that gave us was, when we looked into our PR and trying to market this, crisps are a very, very different animal to market than potatoes. It's very easy to get people excited about crisps, not so much about potatoes. We were in a recession. There was only bad news stories in the media, and the media jumped on it, and we got great coverage. We were on the radio, we were in the newspapers, we were on the television. We got great coverage altogether, and we got good traction with it. And standing up here today with over 100 staff, if you had come and told me that I'd be doing this back in 2011 or before that, I would have told the guys in the white coats to come and take you away, because there's not a chance that we were going to be in that position. And it's a very enviable position to be in. I'm delighted to be in it and very humbled. But how do we get here? What do we do to allow ourselves to be in this position? Well, so what we did was, sorry, I'll hark back to this one. That is the timeline of how we got to where we are today. So our newest product is up there in the top right-hand side, popcorn. So we looked to diversify into this as well. It was another market that we've seen was available for us, and we pushed on into this market. We've just launched these. Sales are going quite well. I said it was another niche that we moved into, and it just fit the brand, and we moved on into it, and it's going quite well for us. So how do we get all these sales? And how is it going so well for us? Well, we go out there and we meet our customers. We do all the shows around the country. We do Bloom, we do Taste of Dublin, we do the Tullymore show, we do the Plougham. We go into all the supermarkets and we put our team in and we sample. So we allow people to taste all the product before they can buy it. So there's no point in turning around and expecting someone to pay top dollar for a product if they can't taste it in the first place. So we visit all the retailers and we go and we put it in front of the consumer and they can actually taste it first, and then we get the repeat sales that way. So we also get great traction in the retailers. They're very, very generous to us. We come in with ideas for displays and all, and they allow us to go into their shops and put these in place. Obviously, because we can drive sales, they can drive sales, and it works both ways. Like the top one there in the middle there, that's a potato display that we have over in Super Value in Lucan. That gets great comments, and people really think this is innovative and nice, and that has quite good sales of loose potatoes. So what we also do is we interact with our customers on social media. This screenshot here is from back in 2011. That's myself and my brother Thomas launching the lightly salted crisps. The middle here is the Taste of Dublin, Taste of Christmas convention in Dublin, and we're with Paddy and Ruth there on the roadcaster there. So I'll hark forward to just recently. Will be some screenshots from our social in this year. So we launched the popcorn. We did a soft launch last year, and then we proper launched them in January just there, and we're getting great traction with them. We put up an idea for a Christmas sandwich there with our turkey and stuffing crisps. And we actually did a video of what we do on the farm, and we launched it on all the social media platforms earlier on this year, and that's a screenshot of that. And you can see that we've increased our interaction big time. Now, I'll tell you that if I get any of our social media platforms and I put up a couple of boxes of crisps for free with anybody that likes this, I'll get several thousand likes. But I'll try to say that these are more organic likes than the other ones for when I throw out the free crisps. So hark back to when we were trying to when we were trying to launch the crisps first. We were actually trying to export potatoes, and we were trying to break into the East Coast USA market, so all the expats in the East Coast. And you can't actually send fresh potatoes into the US. There's a ban on them. So they turned around and told us that, no, you can't bring any fresh potatoes in, but if they're cooked in any way, you can. So that was one of several reasons why we started with the crisps. So exports is a big plan for us. It's a big strategy. So up there, we have 14 different countries. where we're currently exporting crisps to. One of them to potatoes, the UAE there. We send potatoes over to the UAE. The microwavable ranges get flown out to the UAE every couple of weeks. Of these, we have several big players, the UAE being one of them, China being another, and the USA is another. They're big players. We'll just have a quick glimpse of what we're doing in China. So in China here, this is a picture of a high-end retailer in China where we have the crisps. We've got a great display in, and to get a display like this in a country as far away as China is excellent, and it's fantastic for our marketing team and export sales. We got column inches as well in the Chinese version of Elle magazine, and we got great feedback on social media and everything about this. So where's the next? Where are we going to, and what have we done recently? So I don't know if you've heard, but earlier on this year we got a listing with Emirates. We're on every Emirates plane in the first class section of it. So if any of you guys are in the enviable place of flying first class in Emirates, there should be a bag of my crisps dropped in front of you. I've actually never sat in one of them seats myself, but I hope to one of the days. So this was brilliant. So this started back in 2015. I was at a show, Gulf Food. It's a B2B business convention over in Dubai in 2015, and the Emirates catering guy came around and he was looking for some crisps for their first class. And it's since then up to just earlier on this year that has been in the background working away. And it came to a head when there was actually a blind taste testing of crisps for the guy, for the business, and we won it on, without packaging or branding or any of that. It was just down to the crisps. So the quality, back to you're only as good as your last bag. So we won it that way. We're actually selling them. You can get them on CityJet and Lufthansa, and we're in talks with another 1 or 2 airlines. So this is a big mark for us, and this is fantastic for us as a business, and it's growing as well. So from that, I'll just leave you with 1 or 2 things here. I just want to say to you guys, sorry. If you're thinking about starting up a business, there's several things that you need to have a look at, right? So Thomas Jefferson said, if you want to do something you've never had, you've got to do something you've never done. So that means you can't keep doing the same thing and expecting a different outcome. You have to put yourself out there. You have to change what you're doing if it is something that you want to do, okay? What would success look like? If you have an idea or a product of what you want to bring to the market or a service, you need to see what the end goal is, what the product is going to look like, what the consumer is going to be saying about your product, where it's going to be sold, who's going to be buying it, and what shops and all you want to be in with it. You need to be okay and good at everything. So when Eric was introducing me there, he said I was the co-director, co-founder, general manager, and the whole lot. I call myself a jack of all trades. Within the family, we don't have any job titles, really. So jack of all trades, because you have to be good at everything. You have to have your finger in all pies. When I was interviewing for the MBA up here in DCU, I did that, and with Colin and Claire were interviewing me, and they were like, does anybody else work in this company? And I said, it's not like that. You just have to know what's going on in your business. You have to have your finger in all the pies. You need to learn new skills easily. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of things coming at you. If you're a marketing master or you have a degree in business or finance, there's so many other things going to be thrown at you. You have to learn on the go. You're driving the business, the culture, right? So this is more down to the building blocks of a business. Imagine like a house. If you don't put the correct foundation in, it's going to fall down around it. So if you don't put the correct foundation in for a business in the first place, so your foundation is your culture, your values, and your vision, it won't grow, and it'll get to a certain size, and it could all crumble down around you. So you must put them in correct. And you're the weakness and the strength. So what I mean by this is make correct hires. So if you have a business and you're in the position where you have to start making hires because you're getting too busy and you're getting bigger, make sure that you hire somebody in a position that they can do it better than you do. So I'll hire in a financial controller. They'll be better at the finance than I am. Or I'll hire in a better sales guy than I am. Likes of that. So try put someone in the position that's better at doing it than you are. Believe me, I've learned a lesson on that in the past. So that's a vital one. And I'll leave you with one thing. A person who never made a mistake, never tried anything new. So Albert Einstein said this: if you have an idea or an idea for a business or a product, don't let anybody put you down. If you think it's the thing that you want to do and it's going to work, keep going with it. Move forward with it, and go down every avenue with it, and only bring it to the very end. And failure is not a bad thing. Like, you either win or you learn. As Thomas Jefferson said, he didn't fail at making a light bulb 1,000 times. He just figured out how to make it wrong 1,000 times. So on that note, I'll hand you back over to Eric.